Everybody, and welcome to Module 12. 2 videos in 2 days, but we're going to get us caught up. Okay, so the last video I sent to you was talking to you a bit about the evaluation plan, and there was an additional template that was provided as an example. And I wanted you to take a look at it because it is actually quite well aligned with some of the more professional and formal templates. And so I just wanted you to have an example. However, as long as you're following the template for the final evaluation plan, you are good. If you choose to change out a couple of different things, that's fine. What I want you to do and hopefully get from the variety of resources that you have is sort of an approach and a template that is going to work for you in whatever evaluation or research you are going to be doing. So, as you look through the different templates, I want you to ask yourself about the types of questions that you're going to be asking, the types of data that you're going to be collecting, the audience that you are going to be writing to, and then picking different templates accordingly. Okay. There is no right or wrong way to do an evaluation plan and an evaluation program as long as there is a consistent throughway between, the envisioning or the higher order logic model that you have, between sort of the indicators that you're going to be looking at, the activities or specific inputs and curriculum that you're going to be evaluating, and the instruments that you design and the way that you decide to collect the data. All of these things have to logically make sense and align so that the way that you collect information, the way that you analyze information, and the way that you report information is directly tied to ensure that you are shedding light on those activities and on those inputs that you're looking to evaluate. So that's really what we're looking for. But as you see from the variety of examples that you've been provided all along the way, that can look a number of different ways. Okay? All right. So please do not stress out. We provide you these templates, particularly the final evaluation program submission, just as a way to help guide and scaffold you in your direction. Okay? As you become more proficient with doing these types of evaluations, however, you may develop sort of your own approach and your own templates that are better suited to your particular community or audience needs. All right. Okay. Now, this week. This week, we are pushing you to take a critical approach or lens by which you are evaluating things. Now, this is a tough thing to do and throw at you this far into the semester, but we've surely discussed some of these things in previous weeks. One of the things that I'm going to be adding to the collection that you currently have is something that I saw as missing, and specifically because we, in the Penn State community, are situated in an area that is, very much surrounded by rural educators and rural schools. And so I'm going to provide 3 additional resources for you. As everything, please, you're not going to be tested on any of these materials, but they might be more helpful to you because these are also critical approaches to policy and to examining what is happening, but they're looking at critical rural theories. Now, it's very interesting to take a look at. I've already skimmed through and read a few, and it is important to recognize that when we take a critical approach, what we are doing is what we are challenging sort of what is mainstream and what is seen as normal and questioning whether that is in fact the case. And the same thing is true of rural versus urban populations. In our society, there is sort of a prioritization in the ways in which we do research. The majority of research is happening in the suburban or in urban schools, likely due to simply where researchers are located, right? But this is questioning whether that is an acceptable approach. There's also this really interesting paper that is looking at, what does it mean to teach and evaluate in place in rural contexts, while also recognizing that not only are we dealing with socioeconomic factors and cultural factors in rural settings that are different, but we also have a variety of populations that have to be accounted for. It could be indigenous, it could be migrant, it could be LGBTQ. And so there is this layered approach to thinking about how do we evaluate and teach in these places. So I'm going to add that for you to take a look at. Look at all the different papers that we have. Pick one that you think is going to be the most appropriate to your population and your audience, and make sure that you think about these different factors and take them into account in your reporting. Okay? If you have questions, as always, I am here. I think you are sort of in the cusp of it. I know some of you are about 2 weeks behind. Again, it is okay. We are getting to the end of the semester. I'd like to once again just highlight the fact that I am not expecting perfection for these final reports as you're working towards that. I'm very much thinking about this course as a safe space for you to practice low risk, the same strategies, the same approaches that you are going to take as you are working towards completing your DED. Okay? My job is to give you some feedback, push you along the way, and hopefully help you to move into the next level of your research and program evaluation endeavors. All right? All right, everybody. The one thing I do want to make sure that you know, now I'm happy to give everybody flexibility with when things are due. However, please know that the final submission, there is not a lot of wiggle room. Maybe like I don't even know if I can do 24 hours because there are, different folks who might be in their last semester, and we have 48 hours to submit grades. So if for any urgent reason you feel that you might need a little bit more flexibility, I can figure out whether something could work, but it might be, just giving you like an incomplete or something until you're able to get those things to me. Again, no worries. The incomplete will be changed once you get those projects to me. But please know that I only have like 3 to 5 days of wiggle room before the semester begins. Okay. So please try to get those final assignments turned in on time and get everything caught up by then. All right, everybody. If you have any questions or need anything, please reach out.